My name is Spherno, and I'm joined by Pear, and welcome to the Fruit Bowl cast. Say hi, Pear. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Pear.
Great. Now, after covering our matches from Week 10, it's time that we look forward to next week and decide who we think will be victorious in each match. This is kind of an odd schedule this week since we're treated to 9 games spread out over 4 days, getting no more than 2, sometimes 3 per night / morning, depending on where you're watching them from. As of last week, an unfortunate prediction left Pear sitting at a 4-6 record compared to my own 5-5 pick win rate. The real question is whether or not he can even up the score, and we'll find out right now, starting with our first match, Atlanta Reign versus the Washington Justice.
Okay, we don't actually really need to say too much for this one, I don't
No,
think.
we
I
don't.
think,
Actually, okay, so I went back and reviewed the schedule again. Obviously, I had to put this together. And none of these matches, except for like the Chinese matches, are going to be super hard to guess. Like most of them only have a one-sided answer, and this one is hands down the Atlanta Reign.
yeah, I think we can both agree. Also, I don't think the Justice are bad by any stretch of the imagination. I
Are
think
you
we see the Rain
sure? Are you
outclassing them on every
okay?
role.
The Justice are pretty bad. They have a 2-8 record. Like
Okay,
you can't get much
numbers are
worse than
cool.
that. No other team has that bad of a record.
Boston
And
Uprising?
no, the Boston Uprising I don't believe have that bad of a record.
How many games did Boston won?
Let's check the standings really quickly. The
Yeah, I'll,
standings.
I'll pull them up as well.
Okay, Boston is sitting at a 1-6 record, which still isn't that bad.
But they played fewer games, you know.
They've played one fewer game.
No, they haven't. If they're 1-6 and the Justice are two and
No, they've
eight,
played two. They played two fewer games. They're 2-7. Justice.
all right. So to me, it seems quite likely that Boston might be worse than the Justice again.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I'll give you that. However, and I'll say this as well. Atlanta Reign have stood toe to toe with the Philadelphia Fusion. There's no way you can get. There's no way they can beat them, especially since they were
I
rolled by the Fusion in their match.
there is a world where the Justice pop off. Corey's back. Stratus is amazing. Raw has the best game of his life, and they win.
Yeah,
But
but
it
there's
just
there's
doesn't
also a
quite
world
make them.
where yes, but there's also a world where Lulsich's visa got approved at the beginning of the season, and we're not living in that one either. So
Yeah. See, I like to vote for the underdog and make some wacky calls. I was right twice to the Titans last week, but no, this one's going to the Atlanta Reign.
yeah, this one's hands down Atlanta Reign 3-0. That's my prediction.
I would have to agree with you there.
I won't even give the Justice a match. That's like easiest prediction of the week probably. The next one, also pretty easy. It's the battle for LA. We've got Los Angeles Valiant heading up the Los Angeles Gladiators, and this is hands down the Gladiators again. I mean, a pretty easy prediction.
I see. If there were no hero pools, I would definitely have gone for the Valiant. But because McCree is out, KSF, or is he the one who plays the
Yep, that's no,
whichever one?
it's
Whichever one
KSP,
plays the McCree?
KSF
No,
or KSP.
KSF. KSP is the McCree. KSF is the May.
Yes, and
But
without
because we're
McCree,
seeing McCree out, we're seeing Brig out as well. I think the Gladiators will win this.
yeah, like I'll give like okay, I'll be generous though. I'd say the Gladiators will win 3-1. The Valiant are
I
good enough
agree.
to get a match, or a map. I would give them that because they're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
They're probably middle of the pack.
but Gladiators, they are definitely probably a top five team. They've had a rough schedule.
Yeah, they're definitely okay. Maybe not top 5, probably like top
Definitely top
6.
10.
Top
Yeah,
10.
top
Top 10.
definitely
I'll
top
give them
10
I'll give them
comfortably.
I'll give them position 6 only because I think there's several teams that outclass them this year, but they're definitely still in the top 10.
I agree with you there.
Yeah. So 3-1 Gladiators, another super easy prediction. Next
Yeah.
match is this kicks off our Friday games, and this one is another easy prediction, just like the past two. Paris versus Florida. Paris wins.
Well, sometimes in life you got to take a risk, and maybe you got to vote for the team that it seems less likely for them to win. It may seem improbable, but maybe they'll do it.
It's literally impossible, Pair. Florida Mayhem are like bottom four teams, and Paris is like number
Today,
four.
today is not that day though. I don't see anything but the Eternal winning this. They're a bit weakened with the whole hip grey scenario, but
But they
and
played.
Xe is out as well. You do
He
have to
is. That news very shocking, but also
get one.
also explains why he hasn't been playing the past couple matches.
Yeah, but I think between Nico and Soon, they should have enough firepower
And
to over.
not just Nico and Soon, but if you saw the way that Gray and FD God were playing off of each other, the support line that they've got highly outclassed the Florida Mayhem.
FD God's got to be a candidate for Player of the Year already.
Yeah, definitely. Specifically,
Been
like
phenomenal.
Rookie of the Year, he'd do incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Another pretty simple prediction there.
Yeah, another simple prediction. I'm predicting Paris Eternal 3-0.
I say 3-1. I think the man will win the first map and we'll think maybe, and then we'll realise
Yeah,
why
and then
Paris has
Florida will just wet the bed after that.
Yep.
All right. So next match is another Friday match. This one is they're all pretty late over here. I don't know. They're probably earlier matches where you are, like early in the morning. But over here they're happening pretty late at night. And this one is going to be the Boston Uprising versus the Toronto Defiant. I nailed that background color for the Boston Uprising.
You really didn't. And you really didn't for Defiant either, but I'm a Defiant fan.
I'm for
But
this match
after watching
specifically.
Houston, I'm not sure if I can support Defiant. I think we'll win, not because we're good, but because Boston are less good.
Yeah, that's exactly my same sentiment. And the only reason that I would say that is that we have a common denominator to base them both off of, and that's Houston. And Toronto managed to get Houston to that map 5 before they
Somehow.
before they got that reverse sweep. But Boston got completely rolled. I think it
Yeah.
was 3-1. It should have been 3-0, but it was 3-1. Somewhere along the way the Outlaws dropped the ball in that match, but yeah, the Toronto will get it definitely just because they're less bad.
Please,
And
Defiant,
I'll give them a
don't let me down for 2 weeks in a row.
However, because of the way this match has gone before, we've seen Boston and Toronto play each other, and because of the way it's gone before, I want to give Toronto the win, but I'll give it to them like 3-1 or 3-2. Like, it's going to be hard fought.
I don't want to give Boston. I don't want to give Toronto the win. I'm a fan. I think it's going to be 3-1 to the Defiant there.
3-1 Defiant. Yeah, it's either that or 3-2. It's going to be one of them. The final match again for Friday, Pear, you're going to be excited about this one
Oh no.
because you were so caught up on guessing them last week. It is the Dallas Fuel versus the San Francisco Shock.
Okay, yeah, let's move on to the next. The next series, 'cause
this
we
one's
know-
also a fairly easy one. Like, we all know San Francisco. I will give them probably 3-1 or 3-2 though. It's not going to be a roll because we've seen Dallas play, and right now we're at that point where Dallas has found something and it's clicking, and they're playing decent. They're not playing good, but they're playing decent. They're playing better than they were before. And I give them like one map, maybe two.
I'm back. I'm behind. You know, I'm down in the predictions, and we've agreed. But I think that the Dallas Fuel are going to win this.
Okay. Yeah, I won't I can't argue that. Like, both of these
See,
teams
I see stuff like that, and then I wonder why I lose in the predictions.
okay, I will give you though that this match, like, San Francisco are definitely have the upper hand here. They definitely have a better chance of winning. But we shouldn't be sleeping on Dallas because right now they're on top of their game. Tracer isn't banned and they have Decay. Whereas
still with Doha, we've seen Dive this week.
yeah, I mean, whereas with the Shock, they only work under certain metas, and we've seen that we've seen that plague them so badly. Like, certain characters are out of the
Same
hero pool, and
weekend.
then they lose, but then they come back like last weekend and completely destroy their opponents, no problem. So
It's true.
I have a theory that this match could go either way, and I cannot fault you for picking the Fuel, because if they win, like, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I'm going for the Fuel in this match. I don't think they'll win, but I'll give them my support simply because I'm closer to them than I am to the Shock.
But you still think Shock are going to win?
I still think Shock have the upper hand in this meta, just because their support line is superior, and Lucio and Ana are both in the mix.
Disrespecting Harry Hook.
It's
mad lad that is.
It's Harry Hook. I mean, maybe if you play Closer and Crimzo, I could see, like, maybe they'd have an advantage against Violet and Moth if they play Violet and Moth, because we all know how that works. They just play whoever they want. Let's just put ons on Lucio. That might work. Put ons on the Mercy. Battle Mercy. I'm thinking Battle Mercy for Mons. That's what I really want to see this season.
I do not like that.
If they're dead set on trying everybody in every role, they might as well, you know?
Yeah, the ultimate flex.
The ultimate flex. Ons hitting #1 in the leaderboards for hero damage on snipers or hit scan players, and then all of a sudden pulling out Battle Mercy and doing just as good.
Yeah, gets the nano boost from Super and just...
They're gonna pull a Yveltal on us. Which, okay, one of the casters made a very good point, and I completely agreed with it. When I heard it, I was like, yes, that's what it reminded me of as I was watching. San Francisco are playing a very Chengdu game right now. And so, and just like the Hunters play, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They're a very random team this year, because you see they're playing, like, off-meta stuff, they're playing, like, wacky comps, they're putting their players wherever they want to put them. And that's, like, that's precisely what the Hunters do, and that's what makes the Hunters so entertaining to watch. And in some ways, the Shock are entertaining to watch whenever they play, because it's always like, oh, well, who are they going to put in which position this time? So this, I think, if anything, this is just going to be a fun match to watch. This is maybe not going to be the most intense game that we've seen, but it's definitely going to be wild, and it's going to be fun because the Shock play random stuff. Decay has his Tracer that's going to be so incredible, but in the end, it comes down to, like, pure talent, I guess, and individual talent, and that goes to the Shock. So 3-1 Shock.
I'd have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
Right then.
Next match. This is going to start Saturday's matches, and each team only plays one match, except for the Chinese teams this weekend, which is, yeah. So we're not going to have any repeat teams in this one. Oh, well, I guess we're on to, yeah, this is Saturday and Sunday, the two Chinese division matches. So this is going to be Chengdu versus Guangzhou.
That is a tough one.
I'm going to go Chengdu. No, I'm going to go Guangzhou. I'm going to go Guangzhou.
I'm going to go Chengdu because we're seeing hit scans out, Farah's in.
Okay, so my entire thinking process here, and hear me out, okay? So far, the Hunters have put up a consistent 1-1 record every weekend. They usually lose a match to a team that we would consider below them and win a match against a team that we would consider better. They always flip that on its head, right? And they have a consistent 1-1. They're going against the Dragons, and they've beat the Dragons before, meaning that I think they're going to drop this match and win the Shanghai game.
I just think Chengdu is superior.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, they're a good team. Like, they're kind of in their own, like, you can't power rank them with any other team. You just kind of have to put them by themselves, and that's where they're going to sit forever. But in terms of raw talent, yes, Chengdu have the raw talent, but I think they're going to drop this game.
No, I think the Chengdu are just going to ride Jimmy's Farah off into the sunset.
Yeah, that depends on if there's something, because Guangzhou are a team that's really good at adapting. Like, we've seen them do it all through the last, like, 4 or 5 weeks that they've been in the league. They're really good at adapting. If something doesn't work, they change almost immediately, and then they are able to fix the problem and end up winning some of their matches.
I think so. You can't fix the problem if the problem keeps changing.
That is true. I will agree with that. But while you can't fix the problem if it keeps changing, the Charge I think are just better at like switching at a moment's notice. They're going to see what Chengdu's running, and they're going to pick something that's better and roll them, which is something that, unlike with this match, I don't think the Dragons can do, and that's why, kind of spoiler alert, I think the Dragons are going to lose their match. But I'm going to say Guangzhou 3-1, maybe 3-2. What's your prediction?
3-1 to the Hunters, I think.
Okay.
There's for taking.
Okay. Next match for Saturday, and the final match for Saturday, is going to be Shanghai Dragons versus the Hangzhou Spark.
Dragons, let's move
Yeah,
on.
give it to the Dragons, 3-1. I'm gonna say 3-1 because the Spark are getting better. I give them like maybe they win control.
Yeah,
and then get rolled the rest of the way.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna walk away with it. Yeah, say 3-0 to the Dragons. I don't think Spark are gonna.
You realize your mouse is clicking so loud into the
My
microphone.
apologies. I hope you like mouse ASMR. mouse.
ASMR, but the M stands for mouse?
Scroll wheel. Didn't make any sound.
No, it didn't. Okay,
Oh, well.
So on to Sunday's matches, the final day of matches. Also, Chinese teams. We're going to see repeat Chinese teams. The only teams that are playing 2 matches in a row in this one is Guangzhou versus Hangzhou.
Oh, this is going to be poor. I don't know which one to pick. Not poor, it's that hard to choose. So I'm going to go the Charge.
I'm going Spark just because, and here is my take on this. They've both faced off against the Dragons, and the Dragons are hands down the best Chinese team at this moment. Like, they're playing super dominant in all of their most of their games. They're just showing more consistency. They're showing a higher level play. I think we can both agree that.
Absolutely.
And in all the times that both of these teams have faced off against the Dragons, sure, the Dragons have won, but Hangzhou look like they're putting up more of a fight. And that's just my perspective. Maybe other people see it differently. I just think that in every time that I've seen them play, even if both teams get completely rolled, the Spark just look like they made it closer. And that's also why the Spark are higher in my power rankings right now than the Charge are. It's just because they may both have lost or won the same amount of games, but Hangzhou just shows that higher level consistency.
I have more trust in the players of Guangzhou than I do from Hangzhou, especially on the DPS.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Hangzhou have necessarily very strong options on the DPS like the Charge do or other teams. Yeah. I think the tank line as well. I think Ria and Krong is better than Sashin, who's a DPS player, as well as Gushui.
That's true.
Gushui's good.
Yeah.
But I feel like Sashin is a bit of a limiting factor.
Yeah, I have trust in Godsby, Adora, and Bazi. I just think that they have very good play on non-hit scan players. But remember, this is also the reason that you chose Chengdu over Hangzhou, is that Guangzhou has like the really good hit scan players. You have Happy, you have they're all really good hit scan players. But hit scan is out this week because McCree isn't there, so they're not playing that McCree, they're not playing that hit scan. And they don't have strong enough players, I think, to match with Hangzhou and the fact that they can play such diverse heroes that aren't hit scan. I just think Hangzhou have the advantage in this specific meta this week.
I'd have said that for the opposite teams, so I guess we'll never agree.
No, we're not
going to
agree.
3-1 to the Charge.
Okay, I was going to go the complete opposite and say 3-1 Hangzhou.
Well then.
Our final match.
Shake up.
Yeah, we're shaking up things here. This is probably what's going to be like. All these Chinese matches are going to be the ones that mess up our prediction rates, because for the most part we all picked exactly the same, or we both picked exactly the same all the way down to these stupid Chinese matches. And it sucks that they're all so evenly matched, like you never know which one's going to win over the other one on any given week.
That's the tricky thing, but for the last match of the week it will be
Chengdu versus Shanghai. I give this to Chengdu. I give this Chengdu 3-1.
This is heart versus, brain in this. And my heart is telling me Chengdu, but my brain is telling me it's going to be Shanghai, and I think I'm going to have to go with Shanghai.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Chengdu just because they've beat Shanghai before. They're just wild enough to do that. I think, especially since the meta keeps getting shaken up and you can't exactly review past games to figure out what meta they're going to run and figure out how to beat it. You're just kind of stuck at the level of, I have no idea what they're going to play. And Shanghai hasn't shown the flexibility. We've seen before when these two teams go up against each other that Chengdu is able to completely flabbergast them, and they never come back from it.
I think the amount of flabbergasting becomes less flabbergasty as the season gets on.
The more you say that word, the weirder it becomes. So,
Absolutely,
I had a good word and you ruined it.
I just think that if the Hunters go 2 up, the Shanghai coaches will be able to set Shanghai straight on what they need to do, and it's because of that I think Shanghai are going to win.
Okay, the only way that I see Shanghai winning this, and this is going through past games and analyzing the way that Shanghai plays, is just if they can manage to brute force their way through it. Because Chengdu plays so weird, and you never know what they're going to pull out. And at this point, Shanghai doesn't know what Chengdu's going to play, so they're kind of at a loss with their training right now in a way, because of the way that the meta is and the way that hero pools work.
What is Shanghai going to play?
I think they're going to play close to whatever the meta is that we see from the rest of the weekend, and Chengdu aren't, and they're not going to be prepared for it, and they won't be able to adapt quick enough. The only way that I could see them winning in the end anyway is if they just brute force through it. If they're able to play like their mechanical skill is just better overall. But then that goes back to, I just think that Chengdu have better players with better mechanical skill with the metas that they like to run. Because we know Ameng's going to make an appearance on Wrecking Ball again, just because that's the way that Chengdu works. And you can't get past that level of technical skill. Like, I just think Chengdu has the advantage in that regard. So if Shanghai wins, it's going to be on the backs of like brute force and being carried by their DPS. But if Chengdu wins, it's just going to be because Shanghai can't adapt.
I just feel like that Shanghai could do what the Chengdu Hunters do better. Like, we know Chengdu are probably going to run a Bull and are probably going to run a Farah.
Yeah.
You can put Ding onto the Farah and you can put Fletcher onto the May, and that's really those two key members of the Hunters shut down.
Okay, well, sure, you can put somebody on the Farah to match Jinmu, but Jinmu's just a better Farah. At that point, like, you're playing a losing match. We've seen these two go up against. We've seen Jinmu play the Farah battle against a lot of other teams, and he always wins. He's just that good at Farah. And if you match that with Among on the Wrecking Ball, you've just got the better mechanical skill. Chengdu takes it. Like, when I break down my reasonings for both teams winning, Chengdu's is based less on chance and luck than Shanghai's is.
If you think about it, though, Chengdu's entire chance of winning is based on luck, so he needs luck of the hero pools. The moment Bull and Farah go out of rotation.
Well, every team's chances of winning from week to week vary on the hero pools. Like, that's why I think...
Not the Boston Uprisings.
That is true. I was just about to bring up that, like, if McCree was in, I could say Jerry would, like, completely destroy the Defiant by himself, but every team's hero pools vary, and their success rate varies from week to week just because of how crazy the bans are. And for bans, for those of you who, I know we've made it this far and haven't mentioned them yet, but we've got McCree is out and Widowmaker are out for DPS. Reinhardt is out for tank, and Brigitte is out for support. None of those are going to affect the Hunters because they hardly run those people as it is. Whereas Shanghai, we've seen them run those heroes at their best.
I think the flexibility of the Shanghai will be able to get through this one.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're flexible. They're a flexible team. Both of these teams are pretty flexible, and yes, Shanghai is pretty good. But in terms of adaptation, I got to give it to the Hunters and how they'll be able to keep one step ahead. So I'm going to go Hunters, maybe 3-1 this time.
I'll say 3-1 to the Dragons.
All right, that's fair enough. So that is going to do it for this week's predictions. We'll keep a record, and make sure we update after all of the matches are done on Sunday with who's in the lead, who won that week, and then we'll recap it with next week's videos and see where we are from there.
Yes, we will. I look forward to pummeling you into the ground with my predictions.
Yeah, to be fair, you are only one guess away from tying up the score, so.
One guess. They're more than guesses. They're highly skillful.
Except for your
At least
Chinese teams, those were just kind of guesses.
you'll see.
I'll call those guesses. But thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Spherno, and this has been Pear. Say goodbye, Pear.
Goodbye, Pear.
And this is the Fruit Bowl Cast. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was just about to say that I'll link the original game down in the description, but we don't have an original game, so I guess I'll link everybody to the Overwatch League channel so that they can go and watch the matches for themselves and see which one of us was right.
Me.
Maybe. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. See you guys later.